larvicide, known for its hex-breaking powers. Need an herb to repel negative spirits? Try rue, used to repel demons and jinn. Want to create a decoy so black magic can't touch you? Make a witch bottle. For more magical advice, visit Magus Books in Minneapolis. We've got the tools and the expert advice you need to succeed against the dark arts. Find us at 1848 Central Avenue Northeast in Minneapolis or at magusbooks.com.
Come on out to the Charvinity Psychic and Healing Fair in collaboration with Maria Shaw Minneapolis Convention, May 18th and 19th at the Doubletree by Hilton Minneapolis Airport Hotel, formerly known as the Marriott Airport Hotel. The Charvinity Psychic and Healing Fair features a selection of highly skilled and exceptional local psychic readers, healers, and practitioners, ensuring a wide array of premium services like Reiki, past life regression, and so much more. All practitioners offer something unique to help you. You can pre-book practitioners before going to the event and even possibly win a gift basket by visiting 5 or more practitioners at the fair. Also, if you pre-book and prepay for a 30-minute session, you get a weekend pass for Maria's classes for free, normally a $59 value. And the first 25 people who show up Saturday and Sunday will get a free gift bag. Charvinity Psychic and Healing Fair is May 18th and 19th at the Doubletree by Hilton, Minneapolis Airport, 9 to 5 both days. It's only $10 to get in. Visit charvinityfairs.com for all the details.
Portions of the following program may be pre-recorded.
The views expressed and the opinions given by the individual host, guest, random reptoid, or chupacabra may not necessarily reflect those of AM 950 Radio, its affiliates, or its sponsors. Now, it's time to step into the unknown. There are things people experience but never talk about. A shadow moving in the corner, flickering of the lights, a disembodied voice. We invite you to talk with us. Share your story, share your experience, because this isn't just your story. This is our story. This is GhostBox Radio with Greg Bakun.
And this is GhostBox Radio on AM 950, where every night we talk about the paranormal, ufology, Bigfoot, and so much more. My name is Greg Bakun. Thank you very much for joining me on this Wednesday evening. Before we get any further, I just wanted to also thank everybody who came out tonight to Billy's and Anoka for Ghost Stories and Beyond. Tonight we played some spirit recordings. We did some evidence that weren't always ours, but we shared some stuff, got people's opinions, wanted to know what people thought about the stuff. And, you know, it was really fun because it was one of those situations that people were challenging us, or me, I guess, on some of the stuff that we were playing. And I think that's good. And I think as anyone who wants to get into this field, wants to be a paranormal investigator, you need to have those eyes open and question stuff and not just accept what is being seen in front of you. So I was very, it was a very interesting night, and I thought people had a lot of fun. We had a pretty good turnout as well. So it was a lot of fun, and thank you to everybody who came out for that. If depending on how big our delay is tonight here, but I just wanted to say hello to Adam over back in Eden Prairie. How are you doing tonight?
Pretty good. I think we have a bunch of puck wedgies taking over the studio right now because nothing is working right, but we're here and marching straight through.
You know what? You're a brave soul. You're carrying on. I appreciate it very much. You are heroic to me, Adam. That's all I'm going to say. You're heroic.
You're bringing a tear to my eye, sir.
Yeah, which is normal, I think, but not normally for good reasons. So I wanted to bring on our guest tonight. We've been talking about having Michelle Budke on for a while, and Michelle is a psychic medium, and she started having strange things happen to her at the age of 5. This continued off and on until her brother passed away in 2021. That's when her gifts became strong and hard to control. She reached out for help from a few different people that understood what she was going through. She has gone on many investigations in Kansas and Missouri, and that they hope to explore more options this year. One of her goals is to take road trips to haunted locations to other states. She is currently involved in investigating all local haunted places in her own town. she started last year and hope to continue with it. And she is also a founder of First City Paranormal, because Leavenworth was first city of Kansas. And she always enjoyed reading about the paranormal, anything from ghost possessions, UFO sightings to cryptids. She's fascinated by all of it. And she says it's hard to believe that she actually became part of this fascinating field and has a respectable team that goes out of their way to be the best investigators that they can be. Apart from talking about her gifts and stuff, we might talk a little bit about a book that she is working on, that Anna Maria Manalo, who you might remember from such programs as this one, coming up, called Against the Forbidden Darkness, a Medium and Her Struggle to Free Souls. We're going to talk a little bit about that. That's going to be published in June. Michelle, welcome to GhostBox Radio.
Well, thank you for having me, Greg. I appreciate it.
Well, thank you very much. Now I got to ask you something kind of off the grid here a little bit. You know, I've been feeling it too when Adam is talking about that things are not working over there. Things to me feel very uneven tonight. And I don't want to put you on the spot or anything. Do you feel anything that way yourself? And I don't mean about me or anything. I'm not asking for a reading. I'm just kind of getting like a general sort of a feel of just things in general.
You know, I it's funny because I had that question asked to me today by a friend, just because of the way our crazy weather's been in this area.
Sure.
The energy is just extremely high. The energy that I feel myself, not only being a medium, I'm also, you know, I have empath abilities. And and when I was talking to you earlier and you were talking about things with the station and everything, it kind of popped into my head. I'm like, okay, what's going on? Because, you know, I kind of felt this today, this energy today. And, you know, having someone else bring it up to me earlier about, well, you know, what's going on right now, you know, and it's just things are happening all over. Energy levels are just really off the chart right now.
And you know what's interesting about it too, for me personally, I haven't felt it until I got back here tonight at my house, and until I started connecting with Adam at the station. It just seemed like that there's just a kind of this vibe that even like, you know, it might be some of the computer stuff at the station, it might be something over here, and it just was like, this is, you know, and you know, I'm empathic as well to a certain degree, you know, certainly not saying to your level, but you know, there certainly feels like that there is like, I don't know what happened from the time I left Billy's to here, but there seemed to have been some kind of shift that kind of happened that I just find very, actually, quite frankly, aggravating.
Well, and you know, that's really normal with people who, you know, who have the empath abilities too. You know, just all of a sudden that just comes over you. You know, you take on energy like from where you were, you know, you take on everybody's energy that's around you. And, you know, you'd be surprised what it can do. I mean, it's amazing the things I've learned.
I think that's
just people like that.
And I think that's a really good point, because Adam just posted, because he's not going to break in because he wants to make sure he doesn't take our flow off, because he's a little behind at the station. But he wrote that this is weird that he can hear me and I'm talking about him in the third person, like he's not here. Today has just felt odd from the start for me. And if Adam is someone who possesses gifts, and if the day has been odd for him, or say that it's been frustrating, or he's tired or whatever, he can affect some. I'm not blaming you, Adam, but he can affect some of the stuff as well, right? I mean, some of the
of course. I mean, we all can. I mean,
stuff.
It you know, it could be me. I mean, you know,
I wondered actually.
I could be affecting it myself. I have, you know, spirits around me all the time, constantly. They come to me so much that I literally have, this really sounds funny, but I actually have like created like a waiting room almost type
Yep. Yep.
in my head. And I'm like, you're just gonna have to wait. I've got more ahead of you. And especially when it comes to crossing those souls over. And it just gets very overwhelming for me sometimes.
I bet it does. And I bet that, you're a beacon. So people are, they see you. And I know so many people who are like that themselves. Before we get really into things here, I want to let people know, because it's very interesting, as we've been talking all week. We're going out to Atchison, Kansas, a bunch of us. I'm going to do a show from there on Friday, but you are actually in Leavenworth, which is, what did you say, about 30 minutes from Atchison?
About 30 minutes, yes. Mm-hmm. Very close.
So you're right. So it is very close, and it's just that really interesting thing that we're talking to you, and we had to reschedule once, and we're talking to you on the eve of us, and a bunch of us are going out, leaving tomorrow to head to your area and go see Steph.
I really thought that was
go to
crazy when you said that. When you said that, when we were talking back and forth earlier, I couldn't believe it when you said, "Well, I'm coming down to Kansas." So I'm like, oh, it's kind of funny how things work out. My neck of the woods. Yeah,
it is. It absolutely, totally. And not to bore down the conversation, all week we've been talking about like the weather that you've been experiencing, and that I don't know if there's going to be any more coming by the time we get there, but it's Kansas in May. What can you say, right?
That's right.
I mean, it's
March, April, May.
So
yeah.
So okay, so we're going to be talking a little bit about the book that you are working on with Anna Maria Manalo. We've had her on. We've talked about the night visitants with her. The book is called Against the Forbidden Darkness: A Medium and Her Struggle to Free Souls, and that's going to be available in June. How did you and Anna Maria Manalo decide to put this book together?
Well, it kind of started out, I had read a couple of her books, and I had saw her on social media, and I had mentioned that, I had read a few of her books, and how much, I really enjoyed, what I was reading, and I could kind of, I could relate to, what she was writing about. And she just kind of, we just got to talking and stuff. And she finally asked me if I would be a part of her street team, which is, reading the manuscript before, books get released. And the first book I did was Unholy Structure. And she actually asked me to do a video review for it, because I had told her that when I was reading the book, the team that she was writing about, had a lot in common with my team that I have. Mm-hmm. And so that's why she asked me. So we just, we became friends and talked, and I just kind of told her about, my experiences, and I actually helped her out. I did some readings on her and kind of helped her out with some issues from, like, you've known from when she was on your show, like what happened to her father and things like that. And so eventually, she was like, well, hey, write a timeline up for me, about how everything started with you. So I wrote the timeline, which took me close to a year to do. And I got that done, and she loved it. And she came up with, let me do your story. And that's how it came about. Yeah.
So once the book is published, what is the book going to be about?
It's basically about, how I started out. I started when I was 5 years old. Our family had moved to a different home. There's 5 of us, my mom and dad, and then my 2 older brothers, Rob and Ron. And, we moved into a different house. I only being 5 years old, it was just unbelievable, the things that started to happen to me, once we got into this home. And I just, the things, I literally, I don't want to give away a whole lot with the book coming out, but basically I had souls coming to me at that young of an age. And think about that, a 5-year-old, and so it basically tells my story as a medium of how it started to present day. It talks about all my experiences from that age. It actually kind of stopped for quite a while. I mean, quite a few, years that I just kind of put it behind me and, just didn't want to think about it. Just kind of shut it off, because, getting married, having kids, and that kind of thing. I just let it go. But my mom also has, some gifts, some abilities, and it just really kind of took off. My brother, Rob, who passed away when he was 58 in 2021 of cancer. But he knew that I had such a big interest in the paranormal, which he did too. And he kind of pushed me, he said, you really need to do, you need to get out there and do this, and I started out with just a little small group, myself and my daughter and my sister-in-law and my son. And, we just started going to places, and, things just started getting stronger and stronger with me, being able to pick up on the spirits and things like that. And then once my brother passed away, it just basically went out of control for a while. I just didn't know what to do,
It just hit you really hard.
It hit me extremely hard, almost kind of like it did when I was 5 years old. It was kind of going back to that, to where I had these, these souls, these spirits coming to me at night, just help us, help me, why am I here? Am I dead? It's just the questions. And it was hard to handle. It really was. And I was lucky that I did have some people that I could talk to that, kind of knew the problem, like what I was going through, what I was experiencing, which really helped. Also what helped me was my faith. I have a lot of faith, with God and in my heart. And, I want to help those cross because they don't need to stay here. There's no reason for them to be here. Having to explain to them, that you're dead, and you need to go on, to find peace, sometimes can be difficult. And I've had to deal with some, not necessarily good things too, I mean, I don't necessarily say demonic. I like to use the term low-level entities more than I do demonic. You don't see demonic that much, It just doesn't. I've been to a lot of places, investigated a lot of places, private residences and everything, and I've really never come across anything I would have to say that's like full demonic. But the low-level entities, definitely, the non-human, that were never human, never living.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, Michelle, why don't we do this? Why don't we go ahead, take our first break? When we come back, folks, if you have questions for Michelle Budke, psychic medium, also founder of First City Paranormal of Kansas, if you have any questions for her, put into the comments, or you can give us a call, 952-946-6205. Otherwise, we're going to take our break. When we come back, you're listening to GhostBox Radio on AM 950.
Reach your highest level of consciousness and well-being with metamorphosisconnections.com. Metamorphosisconnections.com is an online directory of the best holistic and metaphysical practitioners to help you make your most informed choices. You can search metamorphosisconnections.com for classes, events, wellness and life coaches, plus metaphysical products and shops. You can also search for a wide array of healers from all modalities, including EFT, sound healing, energy healing, light therapy, ancestral healing, shamanic healing, reflexology, past life regressions, hypnotherapy, yoga, and more. And if you're not sure where to start, the search feature on metamorphosisconnections.com is tailored to help both those who know what they are looking for and those who are just starting. Come explore the possibilities for your higher self by visiting metamorphosisconnections.com. Their experienced practitioners can guide both beginners and those that are already on their spiritual journey. That's metamorphosisconnection.com, your link to direct you on your spiritual transformation.
Greg Bakun here. Like you, I love good, fresh, delicious food. So I want to tell you about this treasure in Roseville called Maverick's Real Roast Beef. Maverick's has the best roast beef sandwiches I've ever had. Made fresh every order. Add fries or onion rings dropped in the fryer when ordered, and you have a winning combination. Maverick's Real Roast Beef has a lot more than roast beef, so check out their website, mavericksbeef.com, or check out their restaurant on Lexington in Roseville.
Come on out to the Charvinity Psychic and Healing Fair in collaboration with Maria Shaw Minneapolis Convention, May 18th and 19th at the DoubleTree by Hilton Minneapolis Airport Hotel, formerly known as the Marriott Airport Hotel. The Charvinity Psychic and Healing Fair features a selection of highly skilled and exceptional local psychic readers, healers, and practitioners, ensuring a wide array of premium services like Reiki, past life regression, and so much more. All practitioners offer something unique to help you. You can pre-book practitioners before going to the event and even possibly win a gift basket by visiting 5 or more practitioners at the fair. Also, if you pre-book and prepay for a 30-minute session, you get a weekend pass for Maria's classes for free, normally a $59 value. And the first 25 people who show up Saturday and Sunday will get a free gift bag. Charvinity Psychic and Healing Fair is May 18th and 19th at the DoubleTree by Hilton, Minneapolis Airport, 9 to 5 both days. It's only $10 to get in. Visit charvinityfairs.com for all the details.
And welcome back to GhostBox Radio on AM 950. My name is Greg Bakun. Before we get into it, and Adam, I think you'd find this funny. I don't know if I don't care if there's a delay, because I think you'll find this funny and you want to join in and want to talk about it. But I was at Ghost Stories tonight. Mm-hmm. And there was some friends of ours that are at Ghost Stories, and when I'm getting to my car, and I know one of you are listening, okay? I saw that you're in the chat. One of you are listening. Someone said to me, that place out in Roseville, I said, Mavericks, and he says, yeah. Do you like the food there? Because he's like, I hear the commercials. Do you like the food there? And I said to him, does that not get conveyed in the commercials? I mean, I'm salivating over the food in the commercials, almost to I can't praise it any more than I am. And I just started laughing. I was like, yeah, I like it a lot. So,
well, and here comes the beauty of Friday night. You're going to be in Kansas doing an investigation. We're also going to be doing Casual Friday live. So please join us here, 10:05 Central.
Yep.
But my daughter also has prom Friday night in Roseville. That starts at 7.
Look at you.
After we drop her off, we're swinging over to Mavericks and quite possibly Mr. Zero's and grabbing some collectibles and some food before heading in here.
Wow, look at that. That's that. I'm duly jealous, Adam. Okay, I'm duly jealous, and I went there with Patrick. You and I need to go at some point.
Yeah,
and just go and say hi to Tim and get some roast beef sandwiches and all that good stuff. So yeah, no, I needed to share. Like, I don't know how much more I can convey how much I like the food.
I'm getting, I believe it's called the Big Nasty on Friday. The real Philly cheesesteak.
Yep.
That's my plan for Friday night. So I'm glad I'll be in the studio alone.
So, well, and Tom says those onion rings look awesome. They are, Tom. They are very good. John says Mavericks is delicious. You can't find any better. I would have to agree with that 1,000,000,000%. Yeah, that was pretty incredible. Now, I did see also John had said when we were talking about being out in Atchison, John says Greg will be doing a little storm chasing. John, first of all, you and I are riding together, so it's your truck. You tell me if you're fine with that. That's up to you, buddy.
I'm jealous.
Thank you very much for joining us tonight. Our guest tonight is psychic medium Michelle Budke, and we were talking about the book that Anna Maria Manalo is working on with her. I do have to make a clarification. I think I was very unclear, and I apologize. Tom put in a mediumship question, a one question reading. We're not doing that tonight. We're just interviewing and getting to know Michelle, because Michelle has a lot of great experience and stuff that she wants to talk about. So I apologize for not being super clear on that. Okay. So with that being said, Michelle, I wanted to ask you, you had your first experience like when you're 5. Now you're a little older. Do you ever just a teeny little bit, just like I'm a little bit teeny past 5 years old now too. And so the question I have is, do you ever look back when you at your 5-year-old self and give any thought to why at 5? Why was this happening to you 5? Do you ever give any thought to that?
I do. I don't know if the fact of the house that we moved in may have had a part of it. Mm-hmm. Because I really don't remember the home we lived in before we moved there. I have some memories of that home, but not a whole lot. Sure. Nothing paranormal or anything, but it's like within 2 weeks of moving into that home, and this was in 1973. So I'm giving my age away too. Anyway, within 2 weeks, I started to have things happening in my bedroom. And other things happened throughout the house too. Things happened to my mom, my brothers, my dad. No, not really, but my dad worked a lot. He was gone a lot with working, even though my mom would try to, tell him things. So, I don't know. I still think about that. Did the house have something to do with starting this with me? The house wasn't that old. It was built in 1959. And of course, like I said, we moved in there in 1973. But I don't know, is it something with the land? I don't know. I meant, because there was so much that went on, not just in the house. We had experiences outside the house and in the neighborhood. And, I had a lot of things that happened, and a lot of that's in the book. So there's some really crazy stuff that went on.
That is interesting. And, I also wonder, because I'm very fascinated. I've had people on the program before, very much kind of the way that you're talking. And because like we have that 5-year-old, it started at 5, a lot of stuff was happening in between. And then and when your brother had passed away in 2021, I'm very sorry to hear that, that it kind of was another kind of igniting again. And I find that interesting because there's so many mediums that I talk to that they have that, there's like a kind of an aha moment that ignites those gifts to it sounds like to you, to a very strong degree where it's overwhelming for you as well.
It was extremely overwhelming. It just like opened me up. I mean, I was so open. Everything was coming at me. It was really hard. It took a toll on my health. Yeah. I mean, I had a lot of issues. It was really hard to deal with. I had to put on a happy face every day, and it was hard. It was really hard to do that.
Was it hard to tell people kind of what was happening, because it's not something that everyone will accept, or they'll start wondering about your mental
Well,
Were
that's
they-
one thing I was worried about.
Mhm.
What are they going to think? You need help. You need to go talk to somebody, or or you got the skeptics. Oh yeah, whatever. I dealt with that. Of course, still deal with that. That's just part of it.
Right.
You kind of get used to that. That doesn't bother me. But yeah, it's really difficult because you want to talk about it. Now I was lucky because the way my family is, with my mother and both of my kids, they're adults and they knew, I talked to them before. My husband, my husband, he understands, how I am and how things happen and what I do. But he's not like a part of it at all. When it comes to paranormal, he's like, whatever you do, don't bring anything home. That's kind of
That's
how
fair.
he is.
That's
Yeah.
fair.
Don't bring anything home. And, there's a lot of ways I especially with the team, when we go investigate, I'm probably overly protective of my team, but,
Yeah.
we have our things we do. We pray before we go into any place, and we pray when we come out. And all of us have been fine,
Yeah. And I'm curious too, as you mentioned that it took you a little bit to now things don't bother you like they did before when you opened up and it was all new and stuff. Did you find it hard at all to find your voice as a medium when you needed to tell people like what the messages that you're getting, but they might not sound like something that either they want to hear or might sound a little bizarre or crazy? Did that take a while for you to find that voice, or did that come pretty quickly?
No, it came pretty quickly. When I receive messages, I just feel that that's what I'm supposed to do, relay that message.
Sure.
I've really never gotten anything really, just really bad, to where I had to say something to someone, but I tell it like it is. I tell it how the message has come through. That's how I am.
Yeah.
Down
Well,
here, and I tell it.
And I think that's obviously the best way to do it as well, because I mean they need to know the truth. They need to know especially if they're asking about it too.
I really don't sugarcoat anything.
No, I think that's good. So what you are the founder of the First City Paranormal of Kansas. When you founded that, did you already have that explosion of gifts that happened in 2021? Was it already founded by then, or did it get founded after?
Yes, yeah. But it like I said, it's developed even more once the team came together. Once we started doing investigations, it kind of blew up even more.
Sure.
I there's so many places that we've investigated. I just walk in and I would just be so overwhelmed. But it took me a while to learn, about a year, to kind of learn to control that.
Yeah.
Which I can kind of control that now.
Mm-hmm.
I know what I need to do. I know if I need to step out and get out, I will. That I know how to deal with it now.
Good.
Before
Good.
it's kind of like, ugh.
I was going to ask, because you said, it was so overwhelming to begin with. And, I mean, I'm sure you find this too. I find a lot of people, I meet a lot of people who are, empaths, who don't realize that, people who will go to, crowded grocery stores, crowded super centers, whatever you want to call them. And they like, I can't be in there. And I think, one of the things that I find is that a lot of people are unable to either ground themselves or be able to shut themselves off so that they're not feeling that way anymore.
And that's one thing I definitely, grounding is so important. And I tell people that all the time. I still have that, I don't like crowds, my problem is
I don't like people. So
yeah, I get that way sometimes, but it's like, I go, if I'm somewhere and there's, fairly, maybe, 20 people or more, I feel everything, that comes, it just comes to me, that energy.
Yep.
I also see things, I will literally, this might sound really weird, but, I could be walking down the street or something and someone can pass me and I literally will see like a dark figure literally hanging on to them, something like a type of attachment or something. And I just want to chase them down, and oh my God, but what are they going to think? Oh my God, she's crazy. She's a lunatic, what's she talking about? But I see this stuff all the time, and it's really hard to deal with.
And I was going to ask you about that because I've had psychics that I've known who are just like spirit. If they're like at a Walmart or something and spirit is they see that they can see, right? And they're like, I have a message for the person you just walked down the aisle past, and then they won't let them leave. They'll put like pressure on them and stuff. When you said like, I'd like to stop anybody, do you ever have any instances like that where you're just like, they're really needing me to tell you this?
I have done that before. Not very often. I just don't know how people are going to handle it sometimes. But I work in my uncle has an antique shop, and I work there like once a week on Saturdays, and that happens a lot in there. Customers come up and something just comes to me, and I have said things before. I've said, do you know such and such, and I'll say it, and they're like, and they don't know me at all, I don't know them at all, and they're like, how do you know that, and I explain, I said, well, I'm a medium, and this and that, and probably about 95% of the time they're extremely interested and they're wanting more. So it happens. And like I said, with spirit giving me the messages and, I, like I've said before, I just feel like I'm supposed to let them know, I need to tell them this, because if I don't, I literally, if I didn't, when I don't at times and I come home, that just works on me all night long, why didn't I tell him this? I should have did this. They really needed to know this. And so.
No, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, you go ahead. It's fine.
No, I just, all I had to say very simply was we're going to take our next break.
Oh, that's fine.
and also hopefully I didn't offend anybody by saying I don't like people. It's just the fact I like cats a lot more. So,
I'm a cat person too.
Well, if I allowed him in during the show, I'd show him to you. But we've learned the hard way.
Mine's sleeping on the floor right by me right now. So.
Great, that's great. Let's take our next break. When we come back, we're going to continue our conversation with Michelle Budke. She is psychic medium, also founder of First City Paranormal of Kansas. You're listening to GhostBox Radio on AM 950.
Did you know that spiritual awakening is not all love and light? Surprise! Inner demons, ego deaths, and tower moments are on the horizon. But while life might hand you some harsh lessons, we've got the antidote to soothe your weary soul. Why not try a dragon's blood bath or schedule a Reiki aura repair? With books, herbs, talismans, candles, and more, we put the Shazam in shadow work. Visit Magus Books at 1848 Central Avenue Northeast in Minneapolis or magusbooks.com.
Greg Bakun here. I've told you about the out-of-the-world roast beef sandwiches at Maverick's Real Roast Beef, but I haven't told you about their Philly steak sandwiches, turkey bacon avocado sandwich, BLT, crispy chicken, fish sandwiches, brisket, or pulled pork. Okay, you get the idea. They make a lot of delicious food to the same standard as their famous roast beef sandwiches, and now I'm starving. I'm going to go to Maverick's Real Roast Beef off Lexington and Roseville, and you need to go too. Check out their menu at mavericksbeef.com. Are you one of thousands of individuals who know you have psychic abilities but don't know how to tap into your higher self? Refined Divine is an extremely gifted psychic medium who offers classes that can help you reach your goals. Refined Divine holds classes Monday and Thursday at her 2 locations and via Zoom. Classes consist of manifestation, learning psychic abilities, shadow work, and healing trauma. Refined Divine has helped thousands, and she can help you.
This is Psychic Medium Deb. You can go to refineddivinepsychic.com.
If you own a holistic or metaphysical business and are looking to expand, then you need to be listed on metamorphosisconnections.com. It's a network where you can grow with like-minded practitioners and reach new clients. Metamorphosisconnections.com is an online directory you need to list yourself and your business. Our platform makes it easy for you to create listings of your products and services, and you can also choose to list your classes, events, and so much more. Metamorphosisconnections.com helps you create weekly and monthly promotional ads targeted towards your potential clients and promotes them for you via social media and newsletter. There are clients searching for your specialty right now. Let us help them find you. Start your listing today so you can share your own unique gifts and talents by finding the level of membership that best fits your needs. Let us help you reach your clients that are searching for what you do. Visit metamorphosisconnections.com and sign up today.
And I just want to remind everybody, if you want to see a fun program that I am a part of every Thursday at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time on GhostBox Radio with Greg Bakun Facebook page, we do the program Myth or Mystery. That is with myself, Ryan, Harlow, and Miriam. And we look at videos and we decide whether we think it is paranormal or not, or we don't know what it is. But the best part of it is that you, the viewer, can go and vote yourself as well. Your voice can be heard on this. Tomorrow might be a great time to watch because I'm not going to be on it tomorrow. I will be traveling out to Kansas and very possibly might be having an adult beverage or two by that point. But it is a very fun show. Miriam wants me to call in tomorrow regardless. We'll see how that goes. But if you haven't checked it out, please do so. It's a lot of fun. And then right after that, replay for GhostBox Radio with Greg Bakun. We're replaying an episode from late July of 2023 when we had Stephanie O'Reilly on the program. She owns the McIntyre Villa. We also had John Marson on because we just went on an investigation. He was blown away by the place, and we played some great EVPs and other recordings. And then don't forget, Friday, we are live from the McIntyre Villa in Atchison, Kansas. It's going to be a lot of fun. Really, really appreciate the opportunity to do so. Thank you to Stephanie O'Reilly to allow us to do that. And we're going to come in and also have a great investigation as well. My guest, though, for our final segment is we've been having a very great conversation here. Michelle Budke, she is psychic medium and founder of First City Paranormal of Kansas. And Michelle, my question is, I've been doing this for a while, the paranormal investigating. And I was just joking with my friend Shar today because we always say that we've been doing it for 15 years. But I realized that we started saying that about, 3-4 years ago. So it's a little bit more than 15 years by now. I had noticed that paranormal teams treat psychic mediums a lot differently now than they did then. Do you see a change over the time that you've been doing this?
I really can't say because I didn't come out about it it's probably about a year where a lot of people have really known about my abilities and my gifts.
Sure.
I've never had no issues, about it. the only thing I was told once, which was at a place, I won't say the name of the place, was the fact that they knew that I was able to cross over. Those souls or spirits or whatever that are in certain places, they were like, don't do that. I don't want them to leave. So that's kind of always been a hard thing for me to deal with, and I understand, why they don't some of the places.
Yeah.
So that's probably, been the hardest thing for me, but it's hard for me to answer that question because I haven't been out in the open for very long.
Sure. No, I understand. For me, when I started, people that like I've always included psychic mediums in the work that I've done in the paranormal. It just seemed to be the right fit. Back when I got into this, and I remember Paracons back in 2013, 2014, stuff like that, where, teams would be like, oh, we might bring them in if we want them to see if they feel something in this corner or something like that. If not necessarily trying to be derogatory, but it wasn't great.
Right.
And I just feel like that I would be surprised. I mean, I know there are teams that don't have mediums on it, but I think mostly now that has become they understand where mediums are necessary on a paranormal team.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you there. You see that more, even on the shows you watch.
Yeah.
You see that they bring them, the psychic mediums in more too, before they start an investigation. So I do agree, in that way, of course. And, I know other, I'm friends with other paranormal teams and they have mediums too. I've worked with other mediums myself. So.
Yeah, no. And it's, I think it's very important, and I'm glad to see that switch has happened. Now, Adam had a question, and I want to put that up there because I think he just doesn't, he's unsure if we're going to be super delayed or anything, but he had talked about in the antique store, do items come in that you can feel that have attachments to them? And if so, what do you do with that item?
Yes, I feel it comes in quite a bit. The hard thing I have is really nothing. I have a hard time when someone buys an item that I feel there is an attachment to that item. And one thing in the book, there's something that actually happened with me and an object, an item in the store. And so it's really interesting. And there was actually a lady attached to an item, and she kind of got really attached to me, at the store. She would walk around, I would see her constantly. And eventually she did follow me home.
Wow.
So, and she still sticks around here all the time.
So she's still there.
She won't go.
Oh.
She won't go. She wants to be here. She doesn't do anything mischievous. She's just here. Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that. That's great.
There's nothing wrong with it at all. Nothing wrong with it at all. But it's great the way Anna tells it in the book. Don't want to give too much away, but it's really a great part of the book.
Well, we have 6 minutes left, so you can give some of it away. You got to help us out here a little bit. My God. Yeah, I don't think I've done an interview where people are like, I can't tell you about it. But
let me see. Let me think of a good one to tell. There is when I was younger, at the house, 5 or 6 years old, out in our backyard. Our neighborhood was just full of kids. It was the greatest neighborhood ever to live in. And for some reason, everybody kind of just showed up at our house a lot. And we kind of had a big backyard. And in that backyard, we used to play the game. I don't know if you remember, ever heard of it. It was called Ghost in the Graveyard. And anyway, there was probably 12, 13 of us back there. And there was a house that was right behind us. And there's a tree back there. And that tree had some objects that hung from it that were, skulls of animals, animal bones. Never knew why. Why was this, And I was scared to death. And I actually would see something crawling within that tree, when I was out there. And my brother Rob at the time was 10 or 11 years old. And he had actually dared the neighbor kid to go stand underneath that tree. And the neighbor went down there and stood under that tree, and he just got extremely ill and dizzy and fell to the ground. And he finally got himself up, and he walked up and he said, "Don't anybody go to that tree." And my other brother Ron, was extremely scared, and he had ran in and got my mom, and brought her out. And that kind of started something. And that's another thing in the book. But those were the kind of things that happened. And I would see these things and not knowing what I was seeing, what was going on, but my brothers had a very, we were so close that, they felt, they knew something, and, they would just protect me all the time. But, and like the story with the lady Alice at the antique store, she, that's kind of a different type of thing that went on. It actually wasn't a bad thing. And she was a good person, but she had a really rough life. And she just attached herself to me. And, I was okay with her coming back and being around me. And I did try to cross her, but that doesn't always happen. Sometimes they're just, no, I'm going to stay here with you. And
do you ever know why she didn't decide to leave and cross or anything? Did you ever ask her or anything?
She feels like she's here to take care of me.
Oh.
So it's almost like I think she's going to be with me till I'm gone. And then she'll go.
I wonder why that bond is so strong.
I don't know, because, what her life, she had a really rough life. She had a very abusive husband. She had lost a baby from being beaten by her husband. And, that it's nothing I went through. It wasn't like, I went through something like she did. Maybe it's that the life that I'm living is the life like she wanted. And maybe that's like she's living through me. That's one thing I kind of have a feeling that it's, possibly that way.
Yeah. But also, I mean, and the fact that she's very protective of you.
Very protective. Yeah.
That's great.
Very protective of me. And there's one thing I leave in my house, all around the house, everywhere, is the little, with the cat balls that everybody uses.
Sure.
Those are like one of my favorite things. And I have them through my house. And that also kind of when those go off, that's kind of a sign that somebody's getting ready, to come through wanting to talk to me. And then they'll go off all night long sometimes. It's crazy. I was just going to say, it's crazy right now. It's thundering and lightning like crazy here.
I'm wondering, because I swear I'm hearing something, and
it's thunder, and then there's a window back here. You can see the lightning flash every once in a while. I'm like, here it goes again.
I don't know. It's nonstop over there for you. My goodness.
It's been crazy. It's been really crazy.
I hope that I hope everyone continues to stay safe over there as well.
We're used to it.
Nope,
As
absolutely.
they say in Kansas, when the tornado sirens go off, we all go outside.
we do that as well.
I was going to say, it's like a Midwest thing, isn't it?
It is. Michelle Budke, her book that Anna Maria Manalo's writing, Against the Forbidden Darkness, a Medium and Her Struggle to Free Souls, should be out in June. And once that happens, we'll make sure we let everybody know. You can also find out about her paranormal group. Go to Facebook, First City Paranormal of Kansas. And you can also find out more about Michelle herself. You go to Facebook, Michelle Lemke-Budke, Michelle Lemke-Budke. Michelle, thank you so very much for joining us tonight.
Oh, thank you for having me. I have enjoyed it very much. And you have a safe trip.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Don't forget tomorrow, Myth or Mystery, and we'll be back Friday with being live from McIntyre. Everyone have a good night.
Right. Thank you.
The Tom Hartman Show. Now that's smart.